Hello everyone and welcome. In this fourth lesson in functions, we're going to take a look at index match. Now it is multiple functions to create these formulas, but it's extremely useful. This is kind of the next level of lookup functions. Not only will it look up vertically or horizontally, it'll actually intersect between the two, giving you an array option of lookup. Basically what this will do is that it'll allow you to both look up A through K and 1 through 7 and find the cell that will be the intersecting cell of that. To get started with this, the first one is index. So index is going to be indexing that area or that array, and then the optional text will be the row number and the column number. So this is what we would index, and then you will go to the row and the column. So again, if you have 1, 1, that means that you are doing row 1, column 1, which would be A1 in this case. So if you switch this to a 3, it's going to be the row 1, column 3. And that would be the intersecting cell between the two. Now, switching the numbers, it is important to understand the row in the column, because this is what's going to allow you to use the match function in order to tell the index which one to look at. So let's take a look at match. Before we even get started in there, it's going to be the search key. So you can hard code it in this example, or eventually we will put it into a dropdown. But let's say that we are looking first for the row and we want to find E. So in this case, it'll be E. The range is going to be right here, being I want to find where E is. You can see here that it turns it to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thus, this is finding E, and then the result or return will be that number. So in that will actually allow us to have this match be added inside of the index to get that. Just to look here, the search type is by default find the largest value in that. 0 is the exact value. And so in this, I do want the exact, and it'll make more of a difference with the numbers or if it's a larger data set. Here, it is resulting in 5. Now don't get that confused with it finding 5 here, because E is 1, 2, 3, 4, the 5th row. So if we're going to use this match, I'm just going to copy it, go here, and remember to find the rows, paste this in, and now we can see E3 is being found. Now I don't want it hard-coded where I have to go to the formula in order to change it. I actually want to put it into a dropdown. So I have a dropdown right here, 16, B16, that has the different ones. So let's say I go to E, that's changing to the E. If I go to G, you can see here, it's automatically changing to the G. Now down here, I have this other option with numbers. So I'm going to just have it be 6. So let's go to this one here, and instead of just hard coding the 3 there, let's do another match. Now the search key is going to be right here, B17. The range is going to be 1 through 7, in this case CI, and I'm going to put the 0 there just to make sure. Hit enter, and there we go. Now if I switch these, you can see that it goes to E. If I'm going here, 5, 7, and so on. So now we have this index match successfully set up to be able to look up not only the row, but also the column. Now in this, if one of these is gone, you will get this error. And so it is your option if you want to. You can do if NA and then nothing. And what the end result will be is it'll actually pull everything from that other one. If that's not what you want, you wouldn't put it on each of the match functions, but instead you would use the NA over the entire index. I just wanted to show that because sometimes having the index match, you might want the entire data. So this would be everything in E that we found. So again, you may or may not want that. I'm just going to remove that if NA and instead have it right here. If NA, meaning at any point, this is NA, have it blank. So it'll be blank here. It'll be blank if just this one's a 4. But as soon as it's one that is found, then we'll see it. The next thing I wanted to show too, and if you want to work on this one, that is totally fine. These are kind of the same, but with XLOOKUP, which is a newer one, you can actually create the identical index match with it. XLOOKUP is cross lookup, and if you use it twice like this, you will cross and it will find that intersecting cell between the two lookups. So let's do XLOOKUP, and let's start with the search key being the F right here. The lookup range will be A through K in this table. The result range, we do want it to be this entire table, meaning once when this is found, it should result in that. So I'm just going to leave this and hit enter. And now we have that similar index match when there's only one. The next thing is we're going to have this be the result of another XLOOKUP. So this time the search key is going to be the number. We're now going to have it be as a horizontal lookup. We're looking up here and the result is going to be that one here that was the F. So it's going to, the result is actually going to be identical to this one here. Now, if you want to, and this is where it can again be a little bit tricky, if you want this to have the NA, you would want to have it at the back. If NA, and then have it blank. So I'm going to hit enter, and there we go. So now if I go to C, you can see both of them work identically. It is really helpful, especially if you're a little more familiar with the XLOOKUP. Now it's kind of up to you. Both of these are in some ways a little bit complex. However, once you kind of grasp each one as we went through here, it's a very, very helpful skill. Let's use this in an applicable way. I'll just zoom out a little bit. Let's say that you have this table here where you have full names and you have years, and you might want to find, well, what was their salary between these years? Of course, this table is small enough that if you wanted to know Layla Knowles, you could, of course, just look it up and see, well, it's this one. But why don't you take a look and try to do either an XLOOKUP and cross them or index match. If you want to do that before I go through it, feel free to do that right now. You can pause the video and try it. First up, let's use the index match method. So it will be index. You want to index this here. And again, you might make the mistake of using the entire thing. Make sure that you are only using the data that you would want it to be. Otherwise, if you did something like this, this would be number 1, this would be 2, 3, and so this would be 2, 2 instead of 1, 1 as we'd want it. So index just the data, then match. Using this, the search key is going to be for the row, the name, these names, and 0 to make sure it's an exact match. Match. Now the year, and you want it by the year, and 0 for an exact match. Close off, hit enter, and there you go. You can see Layla knows, and that one there. You can then go to 25 and see that that increases. Now let's try switching the names. Floor Paul. Where are you, Paul? There you are. And all the way here, 95. Go to 2022, and it's 82. So that one is working. Now, if you wanted the alternative, you can, of course, use the XLOOKUP as well. And this one doesn't as much matter of if you're using it by the top first or back, just as long as you are still using the XLOOKUP for both. But we'll keep it kind of the same and start with the rows and then the columns. But again, either way would work. So the search key, name to the name, followed by the data, close that off. And then I personally would then go through and use it here, XLOOKUP, the year to the year, and then this data. Oops, excuse me. You wouldn't want to use the data. You actually want this here. Hit enter, and there you go. You can see that they are both the same, and they're working. Now this one doesn't have it probably because they weren't here at that company, or they didn't have a salary for whatever reason. So it'll be blank. You go to 24, there we go, and we have it there. That's index match. Again, it takes a bit to get it, but it is very, very useful, especially if you have data with multiple criteria, both rows and columns that you want to search and find the crossing, intersecting cell between those two conditions. Hopefully you find this helpful, and if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Do those other social things like share, subscribe, all of that. I do appreciate it. We'll see you in the next video. Bye now.